Hey, Leroy Diesel coming to you with an updated version of my engine oil filter relocation kit. So it's pretty much the same as my old one, except the main improvement is the block adapter. I guess you could call it it's not really a sandwich adapter, but it's just a block adapter. This is where your oil filter would normally go. And so let me get into the video. Starting with the heart of the change again, it would be this piece. This is a billet aluminum. I'm so proud of this part. We're machining this now, and before you used to have to, this was one piece and you had to screw the whole thing like this, and then actually the fittings wouldn't be in it because they would hit the block. So let me back those out for a second. With the old one, it was just a thread over here, and you just had to sit there and screw this in, and hopefully it would line up where you wanted it, and then you would put your fittings in. It worked, but it was definitely more cumbersome than what I'm about ready to show you, and a lot of you probably already figured it out. So now we've got a bolt in here. I don't know if you would call this a banjo bolt, but it's kind of what it is. Kind of like your original 4x4 adapter. On the 4x4s, they have an adapter that turns the oil filter 90 degrees, and it does have a bolt that goes all the way through it. And anyway, you already know what I'm talking about. Most of everybody has a four-wheel drive, but if you have a two-wheel drive, you really don't need to know anything about it anyway. So this is going to go in place of where your oil filter would attach directly to the block, like on a two-wheel drive. So if you have a four-wheel drive, you'll take the nipple out of that adapter, screw it up into the block. Now you've basically converted that block to a two-wheel drive oil filter style. The problem on the four-wheel drive is the oil filters are so long they hit the drive shaft, and that's why they have that 90-degree adapter so that it turns at 90 and you clear the front drive shaft. But this kit allows you to relocate your oil filters, because when you do an oil change on those, you're dumping all that oil all down your drive shaft and just making a huge mess, and it's just not very well thought out from GM. So what you're going to do on this guy is, first off, I don't know if, hopefully that comes out in the viewfinder. We're machining it. It's got leroydiesel.com across the top. It's labeled in and then out, so you know which direction that this is going. So what you're going to do is the outlet is going to go to the inlet over here, and then the outlet of the filters is going to go back into the inlet, and then it'll go back through the engine and get circulated. So this has a rubber O-ring. We machine a groove in there for that. It has this bolt, which I'm really proud of. It's kind of a really cool thing. I took and I phosphate coated these bolts. That's a pretty simple process, but it's just a matter of I just put them in a tray of, for simplicity, acid, and then it pre-rusts. You know, that's what a phosphate coating is. It's rust, but it won't rust anymore. So it gives kind of a decorative finish to the bolt head. And then we've got a O-ring right here. And then if you flip it over, there's also another one inside here in a groove. And so when this bolt passes through that, it creates a seal. And then what you can do is go ahead and you can actually get these pre-mounted, get these with Teflon tape, get them in there nice and snug. It's nice because you can do that over at your work bench area. Break it back over to your truck, and now you can just sort of, wherever that wants to land, start screwing the bolt like this. And by the way, you want to get some oil on there. This is brand new, no oil, but go ahead and submerge this bolt in a little bit of oil. Just put some oil on that, and then put it back together. And so again, when you put this on the block, wherever you want to position it, then you'll just start screwing this in, and you'll feel it bottom out. Once it bottoms out, give it, just snug it up. You don't have to get crazy with it. This is 1.5 inches, so I prefer that you use a socket, an 1.5 inch socket, because it's not going to scratch up the anodizing on here. It's real pretty. And if you go using a crescent wrench on there, every time I use a crescent wrench, they get off and they start gouging and galling up all your pretty surfaces. A socket is going to help you much more in that regard. But if you don't have anything else, go for it. Hell, a pair of channel locks will work, but channel locks are guaranteed to scratch this up. So that's it as far as this brand new block adapter goes. It's got a lot of heft to it. Very solid piece. I'm so proud of this that you just don't know. Going to the rest of the kit is pretty self-explanatory. You're going to mount the dual oil filter mount. And by the way, this takes a regular 6.5 oil filter, so you don't have to remember anything special. When you go to the auto parts store, just tell them you need another filter for your 92 to 2002 6.5 diesel, and that oil filter will fit on here for the diesel application. This is going to mount somewhere approximately under the driver door on the frame rail. I did forget to bring a bracket. I include a little bracket with this, but I forgot it for this video, but you've probably seen it in a bunch of my other videos. It's a little stainless steel T-bracket that would mount here and then also allow you to mount that to the frame. It comes with an assortment of fittings. So for example, going back to the block adapter, you don't have to use these straight fittings, but I ship them this way, just loose. They'll just be loose, so you can put whatever fitting you want in there. But I've got several other fittings, like there's a 1/2 inch pipe thread elbow that you could put in there. Let me get it on the right side. Well, you might only be able to put one of them in there, but that's really not intended for that. I was just showing you the possibilities. So you could do that, but I'm sending you an assortment of fittings. Most people are going to run something like the straights and then a 90 with these swivels. These are real cool because you can angle them wherever you want, like that, and then lock it down here. Then you'll attach your hose to the fittings. Once you get those sorted out, actually it's going to kind of be in that orientation. So in my mind, I'm positioning the back of the truck is going that direction for this point of view of this video. But you could angle this down or wherever you want, lock it in. And what's nice about and I also have some 45s. You could do the same thing with it, or use 2 45s, or use 2 90s, or you could even, not that you would ever do this, I don't think, but if you had to, you could go 90 and then 45, like if you wanted to angle that down and then back up, kind of like that. You see what I'm getting at there, where it would go downwards and then out. You have that option. So a lot of universality, if that's a word, with these fittings. And you'll, again, once you get that situated and where you want it, let's just say that you had this fitting that was coming off your oil filter adapter. You would attach the hose like that, run your hose out to your dual oil filter mount. And by the way, you probably want to do what I've just said up to this point, and then stretch your hose out this way to the rear, to the frame of the truck, like underneath the driver door area, somewhere in that area, and then make sure that hose is going to reach comfortably, and then kind of figure out your mounting position and get it mounted. Because if you mount this too far away, we don't have a hose stretcher here for you, so you'll have to undo everything you did and move it closer. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Make sure you mount this where the hoses will reach. but not too close, because then the hoses, you'll have to make S-bends out of them and stuff like that. It's just not ideal. I believe that's it. You'll get a bumper sticker with each order. And so I've just started making a couple more YouTube videos, and just recently YouTube is aggravating the hell out of me, and just the whole thing. It's asking for the likes and the subscriptions and the comment below. I still just can't get my mind around it, and I've said that in the last video I made, which was the new starter. Had to think about it. I'm going brain dead. But so the YouTube algorithms, they work off of your input. So if you like my video, you subscribe to it, or either one or both or whatever, and then if you comment, the YouTube behind the scenes knows that, hey, people are liking that video, let's push that one to the top. Next time somebody searches for 6.5 diesel oil cooler or oil filter relocation or just anything 6.5 diesel related, it helps these videos get bumped up to the top. And that's pretty much it. And then it helps other guys that are looking for these things get good information. And that's about it. So if you would like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. The last thing I'll just say is, if you need to call me or email me, you can absolutely do that. My contact info is on the website, leroydiesel.com. And I do actually answer the phone, I'll say 99% of the time. And a lot of times I call back. When I miss a call, I actually call back. I'll call you back most of the time, but not every time. It just depends how busy I am. But give me a few minutes, maybe the next day, call me back. But the ideal way to get a hold of me is to email me, and I'm getting long-winded with that. So if you have any questions about this kit, the oil filter relocation kit, again, I love this thing. It's like a piece of jewelry to me, the way it's machined, and it's just so awesome. But anyway, if you have any questions about it, let me know. And that's about it. LeroyDiesel.com. I appreciate your time. Bye.